Get smart with your spending with Nucenda's Breeze debit card. We've got your back by offering safe and easy access to your money. Never any hidden fees, just an account that makes sense. Download the Nucenda app to enroll in mobile and internet banking, managing your funds, making person-to-person transfers, and rounding up purchases to save. Visit Nucenda.org to explore Breeze accounts and join our credit union.
New members must be eligible for membership. Equal opportunity lender. Insured by NCUA.
Good day, folks, and welcome to another episode of Inside Santa Fe Public Schools podcast. I am Joe Abeta, and today we have a treat. There's a program that we started here, or that we are now a part of here for Santa Fe Public Schools. It's kind of a secret, and we don't want it to be a secret because we're just so lucky to be a part of it. It's the Schools Heroes Emergency Fund, and with us today is Kristina Ortez, the program director for the Santa Fe area. How you doing today, Kristina?
I am great. Really cold outside, but it's very nice to be in here.
Yes.
Warm.
And I appreciate you coming in today because I know your other hat is you're a state representative, correct?
I am. I represent House District 42, which is in Taos, almost all of Taos County. So we've just started the session yesterday, and it has been very, very busy.
Yes, I can imagine.
It's great to be here.
You kind of hit the ground running over there. And then
we really did.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. So I wanted to talk to you because I met you during the summer, this past summer.
I had just started.
Yes. And your group had come in, and I remember the superintendent invited me. It was one of my first meetings with the schools because I'm new to the school still. I'm still in my rookie season here. But we had gone over to Ramirez Thomas, and we had gone into this conference room, and we heard the story about met with Wade.
Wade Trimmer. He's the CEO of the Change Reaction.
Yes. And so we didn't know what we were in there for. So you guys, you tell a story about, how you helped Los Angeles Unified, right, public schools with some assistance. And you went on to tell us that what you're here is to offer the Santa Fe Public Schools an emergency fund for teachers, for staff.
Yep. All staff.
For bus drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that's an employee of Santa Fe Public Schools, an emergency fund that was it is to assist them, but it's not a loan, but it's to offer them a $2,500 assistance on something that may happen, like your car breaking down or your water heater busting in your house or something.
Yeah, or all those things at once.
Yes.
Because that's how it happens.
That's right. And you give that to them with proof and all that stuff. It's a very easy process. And it's a gift, if you will, right?
It is a gift, yeah. There's no tax penalties or anything associated with that. You don't have to consider it income. It's really, this is what I know. Okay. I have two children in schools.
Okay.
10 years old, 13 years old. They are navigating the school system. As a parent, I had them at home with me for that whole year during COVID, and my daughters gave me this cup that says world's worst homeschool teacher. And I talk about that a lot because it was, it felt terrible.
Yeah.
They were laughing about it. But, I know how hard it is to educate our kids. And I know what it takes. I know that it takes everyone. It takes an entire village, a school to educate that child, prepare them for life as an adult. And those folks are heroes.
Yes.
The people who make the food, the bus drivers who get the kids to school, the educational assistants, the vice principals, the teachers, everyone, the school nurses, all involved in the health and well-being of our community, right? Yeah. And I also know that while we've done a lot at the state level to support salaries, it didn't affect everybody. It hasn't improved the lives of all school staff, right? And life happens. Emergencies happen. I told the story when I do this, the launch of this program. I tell the story about how over the summer I I saved up a lot of money to send my daughter to camp. It was very, very expensive. A camp outside of Denver. So, I took her to camp. I dropped her off. I immediately, I was driving home and I felt terrible. It turns out I had COVID, sent her to camp with COVID as well. Right. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do the thing that I wanted to do, which was stay, in Denver, hang out with my friends. So I got to drive home immediately. I feel terrible. As I'm driving home, my tire pops on the highway, and it was a very expensive tire. It was very expensive to replace. And it took so long that I ended up having to get a hotel room in Colorado Springs. So another $500 for the tire, $200 for this hotel room. And then I get home and there is a wind event just a few days later that blows out the window of my bedroom. It's a casement window, custom, $900, $600 to do the labor. So all told, in just a few days, it was over $2,000.
Yeah.
It really set me back. And that was at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Right. That's the kind of thing it compounds, right? And you have to pay for a $2,500 car payment or $1,200, I don't know, your fridge is busted, and the money that you've been saving, it's gone. And that kind of stress, that financial stress that working people feel can put them on a path that is dangerous and scary and stressful.
And that day.
And that is what we want to prevent.
Yes. And when you told us this story, when you guys were telling us that you had come in and you told us we want to give indefinitely every year, this renews this gift of $2,500 for the employees that apply.
Yep.
And you, your event qualifies for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not a lot. There's not a lot of hoops to jump through.
Nope.
You're gifted this $2,500 every
up to $2,500.
Up to $25. Up to $25.
But you can bundle.
Yes. Yes, you can bundle.
You can bundle.
and it was one of those things
bundle
where
your catastrophes.
Yeah, but how in today's world, when do you experience something like that? We were sitting in this room and we're just like, wow, this is pretty cool.
I mean, maybe it happened with the stimulus money that came in. That was, but that was a time where we needed it, right? That was where sort of a one-time thing where government came in. We're not going to see that again. Yeah, I think for a long time, if ever again. Yeah, right. But this kind of thing,
I hope we don't.
I hope we don't. I really, truly hope we don't.
Yeah.
I hope that government at every level helps us when we're having hard times.
But COVID.
But what I think is so beautiful and incredible about this program is that it's just everyone who works at the schools is allowed to do this. And there are lots of things that, lots of events, financial hardship events that really are covered under this program. Yeah. And we know that that the district wants to take care of its staff as much as it possibly can. Yeah. But you can't, as a district, help with an emergency loan or a gift. You just can't. No. You just don't have the budget for it, right? No. But this is where we can come in, recognize the hard work and the hardworking people that make, the school district, the schools make a community. Yeah. Period. Yeah. Right? And so many people who, run this economy really are working for the schools, right? And life happens. And those are the people we want to take care of. Yeah. Period.
I remember we were at a school. We went to one of your, what do you call it?
Our launches.
Yeah. One of your launches. And, you went up there and there was a couple of them. What's the catch on this?
Right. That's the thing. It took me some time too to be like, well, what's the catch? Sounds too good to be true. That's always the question. Yeah. There really isn't. The founder of the Change Reaction, Greg Perlman and his wife Jody Perlman, are incredibly generous people, and they also, in their work building affordable housing in Los Angeles, that's where this organization is based out of. They work with people who were right on the edge, right, where a flat tire or a broken, a busted transmission or a window that breaks that they have to replace, that can put, someone over the edge, making it difficult to qualify for housing or even, lead to becoming unhoused. That, it's what they saw time and time again. And so I think it's incredible that their generosity is so focused on the people who are working, knowing that, again, one thing can just really set someone over the edge and put them on a path that's difficult and challenging.
So let's talk a little bit of Perlman's, correct?
The Perlmans,
So
yeah.
let's talk about that. So they're a couple out of LA.
Yep.
This program is only in 2 school districts right now at this time.
Well, in LA, so LA Unified,
Unified,
so
which is huge.
lots and lots and lots of
Huge,
schools
yep.
and some charter schools as well. Lots of, I mean,
Okay.
Hundreds of people. Thousands of
Thousands
people
of people,
are part of this program in LA, and there are other programs that the Change Reaction runs in LA, where they work with nonprofit organizations who are really connected, caseworkers, therapists and social workers, work with communities, and there's similar programs to this that help people with, in financial emergencies.
Yeah.
They help with folks who have, come out of incarceration, kind of getting them back on their feet. That's an incredible program as well. Foster youth, grandparents raising grandchildren. What I find fascinating about LA is that it's actually, pretty similar to Santa Fe. I mean, clearly many, many, many more people, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of like the gap, the wealth gap, the people who have and the people who don't have, the service economy, the difficulty finding housing, all that, like very, very similar types of issues, right? So
high rent prices.
high rent, difficulty finding homes, and now even more difficult in LA, which is just such a tragedy. So the Change Reaction, has been operating in LA for a while now, 5 years or so, really, digging in with community giving. I think what makes it different from like any other kind of foundation or nonprofit is that direct cash assistance aspect of it, right? It's something that we find challenging here in New Mexico. We talk a lot about anti-donation clause and how you can't like help people directly.
Yeah,
but this is like helping people directly. It's just back to basics. I talk about this a lot too. It's kind of like it's like a disruptor. It's just not something this is not how giving usually happens in, I think, in the United States. And so I think it's just such a beautiful back to basics. Like this is how it should be.
Yeah.
Helping people who are hardworking, who need the support, right? So over 5 years, like 35 million plus has been given out.
Wow.
And the reason why we're in Santa Fe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So why does a couple from
How'd this
LA
happen?
care about Santa Fe?
Happen?
Right.
This is how it happened. Wade Trimmer, the CEO of the Change Reaction, really worked with the donors to make the organization what it is today. It's hiring staff and all of that. But Wade is from Pojoaque. He went to
Pojoaque High School.
Pojoaque Valley
He's an
High
elk?
School. He's an
Yep.
That's what he is. He's an elk. And he was given a gift last year in 2023 by Greg and Jody. And they said, we want you to take this to your hometown.
That was his birthday gift, right? That's what he had said.
I think Christmas, maybe?
Something like that,
Some beautiful gift. And I'm so grateful for it because, to give this incredible gift to, the community that raised him. Right?
Yeah.
And and it's incredible. I mean, he spent all kinds of time on the plaza. Like, I think he called himself a plaza rat, where he like rode a skateboard. And
That's
spent a long
right.
time there.
Those are the plaza rats.
The
I
plaza
remember
rats.
them. Yeah. What if those still exist? Do the plaza rats exist?
I don't know. There are a lot of high end stores there these days. Probably not a lot of skateboarding.
No.
But it's incredible. So he started coming back to New Mexico quite a bit in 2024, and I met him, I think, in April or May, and we just had a conversation about, what we could do, what it looks like, what his vision is for Santa Fe, and it had been something for me. I'd run a nonprofit for a long time in Taos, the Taos Land Trust, so I was like doing environmental work, but I had been very involved in the what we call the Enchanted Circle COAD, right? Through COVID, we got everybody together. All like the municipality, the county, representatives from all kinds of different organizations together to really make sure that we were taking care of people during COVID, right? Like we're getting masks, getting blankets, getting food deliveries, like getting that out, and time again. The biggest challenge that we faced was people just needing money to pay their rent because
Yeah.
they lost their job, because they couldn't,
Yeah.
the businesses and the restaurants shut down. Like, people were really hurting. So I kind of, and that was when I was also running for office. So I was really dealing with that. Like, how do we as a community support people directly? And we were running into roadblocks every which way. I mean, I think Santa Fe did a pretty good job of getting, CARES Act funding and other funding out to people, but not every community is built that way.
No.
And we could not do that in Taos. So I was really coming to, this, having conversations with Wade to this work through that lens.
And also, I mean, you're talking about other communities, they didn't know how to spend or how to access those funds, right?
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot. There's a lot of paperwork and stuff that's involved with that too as well.
It was just too onerous.
Yeah.
It was just
There's a lot of
too
hoops
onerous.
to jump through,
so
right?
So many hoops. And so, this is why, like, I was really drawn to this idea of, like, we've got to take care of people who are, who are the backbone of our society, who are the backbone of our community. We rely on our schools to educate the next generation.
Yep.
To take care of children as parents and grandparents and, the adults in the family work. And what happens when those people who shoulder such a heavy burden, when they experience something that is just really difficult?
Yeah.
And that's where we come in. It's really incredible.
Yeah. And like you said, there's not a lot of hoops to jump for this.
Right.
So Wade wanted to bring it to New Mexico, right?
He did.
Or to Santa Fe.
To Santa Fe, northern New Mexico, yeah.
And so superintendent was there. We were all there, and we were so excited to get launched.
I think he met the superintendent a couple times before.
Yeah.
And I met the superintendent on the day of the special session that we had in July. And I had just started the job at that point, and it was pretty clear that we were going to make this happen. I think just a couple days later, we met with a number of folks to figure out how we're going to launch this.
Yeah.
And so we decided, we wanted to launch all the schools, but there's a lot of work to be done.
There is.
to actually
emails, getting the proper.
There's a process.
There's a process.
And it's a good process. But in that process, we're working with ambassadors in the schools. That's usually, in other schools, it's not the principal, but in Santa Fe Public Schools, we're working directly. I'm working directly with the principals. We find a date. I do the training with the principal, and then we launch at a school. So at this point, we have launched at every high school in Santa Fe.
Yes.
Public schools. Every middle school.
Yep.
At Santa Fe Public Schools. And we're just starting now. I've just started to onboard and train the K through 5s, the elementary schools. And there are more elementary schools than both high schools and middle schools put together.
Yes, the community
15?
schools. Yeah.
15.
So there's
Yeah.
So, and with that, every school that you go to,
Yep.
lunch ladies.
Everybody.
What about bus drivers too?
Yeah, and I did a separate launch before Christmas,
Yeah.
which I thought was really helpful because, things happen over the holidays.
Yeah.
They just do. Right. So it was great that we were able to launch at with the transportation department. That was super. It was a really fun day too. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Lots of funny questions. But, those bus drivers and the folks who work in the transportation department, they get our kids to school safely.
Yes, they do.
And I used to have a big crush on my bus driver when I was a kid. So it was just kind of fun to be in that.
Yeah.
Being in the in the big building there. And so they're all ready to go. And this is what it means when I say that they're ready to go. We launch at a school. We've done a lot of the legwork and beforehand leading up to that point. And we make a presentation. It's about 15, 20 minutes or so. And every staff member, anybody who's on the list that was given to us, so people who work 30 hours or more a week, they get a card. It's a special card for them. And it has a QR code that takes them directly to the website where they can apply. But their name is already, they are already ready to go. They just have to register, but their name's in the system, and they can ask for help right there. They can make an application for support right then and there. And we do have some requirements of what we need, like an invoice or a bill, just so that, we can, we need to be able to, to show what's going on. But, really it's about telling the story. What happened? There was a death in the family. There was a car accident. There was, all kinds of things that happen. and they just tell their story.
And it's considered it's a hardship or a surprise or something that happens.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's not for I need to get I need new tires because they're going bald. It's like, no, we can't do that, right? But if your tire busts on the highway like mine did, we can do that. And I just to be clear, I was not working at the Change Reaction when all of those terrible things happened to me, so I wasn't able to.
Yeah, but it's not like, oh, we were supposed to go. I was. Something happened and I wanted to go to Vegas for my 50th or something like that.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work that way. It's like true emergencies.
Hope you
that
have a fun
happen.
time in Vegas, but not on our dime.
That's right. No, I got you. And I think everybody understands that. And you just got to tell your story of what it is, and then and then have some. There's not a lot of hoops to jump if the things that have happened have happened. Right?
And we're pretty clear, on the website. There's a very long list of the things that sort of qualify, the event that qualifies, the expense that qualifies. All that is pretty clear. And it's been, I think it's been pretty successful.
Yeah,
we've had lots of people apply for funding and get that funding.
Just with the district alone, you were telling me about $75K approximately.
Definitely. Over like a few weeks ago, I looked at it before the holidays, and it was like $60,000 that we'd given. So I know that we got another report that was like about $22,000 that had been given out that week. I get a weekly report. So I haven't looked in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. But I'm sure it's over. I'm sure it's over 75. It's probably up to 100,000. When we add the other schools, we're going to be doing this for the long term. Yeah. Right. So every year, that school will be able to. The people at that school will be able to apply again.
That's amazing.
You get it once a year. If you don't get it when you apply, you can apply again. But if you do get it, you have to wait another year until you can apply for emergency funding. But it's every year. So you can pretty much count on if something happens.
I have that.
Yeah. I have that, and I can count on that.
It's a great emergency fund.
It is.
Right?
It's really what it's intended to. Mm-hmm. And I just have to say, I just a few moments ago saw a video, a news story about the Change Reaction and what it's doing in Los Angeles for these wildfires. There's an existing $10 million fund for victims, wildfire victims, and people who have been displaced. They did a big event yesterday in the Palisades where they gave out like $1.25 million checks to people. Wow. Who, up to $5,000, people who have lost their homes or who have been evacuated, who haven't been able to go back home. Like that it's just so inspiring. I think about how people come together and the Change Reaction comes together for their community. Yeah. The Change Reaction is coming together for this community in Santa Fe. And it's
how special to have it here in the Santa Fe Public Schools to be able to do that. So you're looking at all the schools by the end of this school year.
For sure.
Yep. And then next year we'll be going on all cylinders, right?
I'll go back to the high schools and the middle schools and the K through 5s, and we'll do the presentation again very quickly again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, just so that people kind of get, are re-upped and
the new
and
staff.
The new folks, the new staff. And we keep up to date, right? So as new staff is added to the school, I just ask the ambassadors to let me know, and we'll make sure that they're in the system, right? So you don't have to wait until the following year to join the program. It's really remarkable. And I need you to know also that we're doing work in Santa Fe outside of the school district, right? Which has an impact on you still because the students, the parents and grandparents of your students, are going to be able to be supported through our partner programs, at Many Mothers. We're working with YouthWorks. We're working with the Coalition to End Homelessness, and so Housing Trust. So those are organizations that we have been developing relationships with, and there's a similar program. It's sort of not as cut and dried as the School Heroes program, but there are similar programs to provide additional supports, wraparound supports for community members, right?
Yeah.
These kids, and their families.
Yeah.
We're making sure that those folks are taken care of as well.
Yeah. That is pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Truly.
That is cool.
Yeah. It's an honor to do this work, to be honest.
I could say it's probably the best thing to do is to be able to give good news to people,
Well,
right?
I've never been in this position before where I've, running an organization, I had to always write my own grants and raise my own money and worry about payroll. And now it's just being on the other side, being able to help people directly. And it's not you apply for a grant and you get some of the money from that foundation, which I love and support foundations as well.
Yeah.
But some of it can go to salary, but not really any to direct services. And so it's just a different feeling.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. And just being able to say teachers, employees, staff members, support, all that from a school, you hand them their envelopes. What's the most common question that you get after?
I get a lot of is my pet covered? And that we're not doing that.
Okay.
That's the most common question.
That is the most common question.
It is veterinary bills. I mean, maybe at some point that'll happen, but but not right now. Can I bundle? That's the second question. I had I had a series of unfortunate events happen. And can I all those together, $200 here, $400 there, may not be the thing, but may not be the thing that puts me over the edge, but taken all together, this $3,000 that I put out in a month and a half really put me in a tough spot.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question I get.
Gotcha.
Besides pets.
No, I got
We love our pets.
I didn't even think of pets.
We love our pets in northern New Mexico.
We do love our pets.
Yes.
That's for sure. No,
Yeah.
So this happens every year. Mm-hmm. It's renewed up to $2,500 every year
for all the staff.
Yeah. Staff, teachers.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
everybody.
Awesome. That's pretty
Bus
amazing.
Drivers. And that's not happening in LA. So that's a new thing unique to Santa Fe is that we're working with the transportation department, which is so cool.
Yes. And I remember the superintendent saying, I would, if possible, I would really like to include them.
Well, there was that light bulb moment where we were having that conversation about how challenging it had been to get transportation, to get bus drivers, and how you opened it up to people who may be, mostly Spanish speaking, gave the test in Spanish.
Yes.
And how that really opened up, the pool of people that you can apply, who can apply for that job. And I mean, what a wonderful thing that, you come into this, the school system, the school district, you get this new job as a bus driver, and then now you have this additional support, unexpected. It's a beautiful thing. It's so cool.
Yeah. And it's always been the practice of, hey, have at least, whatever in a shoebox in case something happens, right?
I know. Don't put it under your mattress.
And it's just nice to have, now you have a shoebox.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But it's on PayPal.
Yes.
So it goes right into your PayPal account, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so helpful. It really is. I was just thinking about the bus, just back on this bus driver train / bus. Those men and women, they're working in dangerous conditions.
No.
They really are.
Yes,
you guys just had a 2-hour delay here.
Yes.
We just had one in Taos, that crazy storm, lots of ice, really dangerous. They are, and many parents, maybe I'm the only one. Some parents put their kids on the bus and they're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You don't really think about it. They're going to get to school, but the responsibility that is on the backs and shoulders of those bus drivers is huge.
I think about that too. And I'm wondering, could I do that?
I don't, man.
You know,
I'm 4'11",
pressure,
so I don't think I could do it. Maybe I have to put blocks on my shoes. Maybe I could do it, but I don't know. I mean, it is such a deep response. And those kids are wackadoodle in the back of the bus, right? They're doing all kinds of things.
Well, if it was anything like when I was on the bus back in the 80s and what was going on back there.
I know.
Maybe it's gotten a little bit more tame. This generation seems to be a little bit.
I know. I think maybe now those kids are just all glued to their phones.
Yes, because before it was us doing everything we could.
I know.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah. No, we're not going to talk about how I got sent to the principal's office.
I got several times.
For the bus.
Don't worry about it. Now I'm working for the school,
Look
so
at
hey,
you.
it turned out all right.
Everything
and
turns
look at
around.
you.
I know.
So there you go.
Yeah. That's a different podcast.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah.
Really.
And is there a website people can go look and just see more about, the program?
Yep. Go to changereaction.org.
Okay.
But if you work at the K through 5s, I am coming to you
Yes.
very soon.
That's
like
good.
I'm going to Pinon tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we're going to just launch.
And then work your way from there.
And work through it from there.
That is
so go to
amazing.
Change Reaction, check it out. So excited to do this. It's really it's a dream to be able to help folks in this way.
No, absolutely. And I know there's a buzz, whispers of you coming down the chimney. So
You get a car. You get a car.
That's right. What a great job to have.
Like Oprah. Cool.
Well, thank you so much, Kristina Ortez, Representative Kristina Ortez. I want to thank you for joining us today. Folks, thank you for spending some time with us. Have a great week. Have a safe week. Adios.